Hi everyone, it's Jay West and the show is called Directions. Directions is all about transitional changes and circumstances in our life, good or bad, that come up and how we handle them, how we deal with them, how we navigate them with or without God. And most of my guests, it's with God, but sometimes it's not. And we just like to hear from people and learn about their circumstances. My special guest today is a new friend that I met recently. His name is Brian Hershey. Brian.
Yeah, Jay, good to meet you.
Good to meet you again. And Brian's the CEO of, name the company again?
The Partnership Blueprint.
The Partnership Blueprint. And the way I met Brian, this is interesting. He and I were friends on Facebook, but we had never, he's been following me, but we had never actually communicated. I don't even know how we became friends. I don't know if I asked you or you asked me.
I think it was through Percy.
But,
Yeah.
well, okay, but he doesn't recommend people on Facebook. That's my point.
Oh, yeah.
We met, so we have a personal friend, a mutual friend, not personal friend, well, mutual, whatever, personal. I'm rambling today, so sorry. In Texas, and Percy, my friend in Texas, sent me a note about Brian, what he does in his ministry, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I'd like to meet Brian.
Yeah.
And so we reached out and had a coffee and got acquainted, and you shared a lot of history. Why don't you reshare some of that history to bring us up to where you are now, and then we'll talk about that as well. So
Yeah, I think you talked about how people navigate transitions with God, and obviously God is a huge part of my life. And he got a hold of me toward the latter part of high school. And when I went to college at the University of Northern Iowa, I really began to grow in my walk with Jesus through the ministry of the Navigators. And that kind of shifted my area of interest and focus from education into youth ministry. So that took me on a 22-year journey working with military-connected youth in Germany, Italy, Texas, back in Germany, and then here in Omaha.
see, Germany, Italy, and Texas, you threw all the internationals in at once.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Navigators main site in Colorado?
Several times.
Okay, because I've been there once or twice, and in my mind, I can still see that big mansion and everything. It's a beautiful location. So
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
So I did that for 22 years, and I stepped out of that in 2021, right after the global pandemic, and that kind of brought me into a 4-year season of disorientation and discombobulation, where I felt like I was following Jesus. I knew that he was wanting to bring me into a new season, but I didn't know what that was. And so it kind of created a bit of a career crisis, and bounced around, tried a couple different things. And then in the early months of 2024, there was sort of this a desire to learn how to fly planes. And so
And you're how old?
at the time I was like 46. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I want to go back to that word disorientation, because
Yeah.
I'm going to use that phrase in my next show. I'm going to talk about how I'm transitioning out of church ministry into political ministry at the moment. And I'm somewhat disoriented because I'm trying to figure it all out. It's not, so keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going about the planes.
Yeah. So I was seeking the Lord, asking like, what's next? What do you have for me? I was putting my application out there, trying to find employment, and there was just no doors opening. And so there's this verse that I've referred to at certain junctures in my life over the years. Psalm 37:4, delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. And so I was seeking to do that. I was seeking to just find joy and peace and contentment in my walk with Jesus, even if my circumstances felt very disorienting in the moment. And it was out of that I suddenly had this awakening, in a sense, this desire where I thought, man, it would be phenomenal to be able to learn how to fly a plane. So I enrolled in flight school in July of 2024 and completed that in I guess a year later, in July of 2025. And now I serve as a flight instructor at LeMay Aero Club. And I still have this desire, though, to have my hands in ministry and to help.
Let's talk about the flight school for a minute.
Yeah.
And where is that club located?
Yeah, so I had an opportunity to come on the team at LeMay Aero Club. It's on Offutt Air Force Base.
Okay.
And so I get this incredible opportunity to take off and land on a 200-foot wide runway that's over 11,700 feet long, and it's unbelievable.
What kind of planes are you flying?
Just the little ones right now.
Like how little?
Yeah, it's just Cessna 172s, Piper Warriors, Piper Arrows. So single engine, light general aviation
Does this
aircraft.
club have all those planes there, a whole bunch of them? Or?
Yeah, yeah.
So how is it that help me understand how a non-military, and how this even functions? First of all, a non-military thing has planes on a military base, and then how the government is paying for the base. So we must be somehow paying for you now. How does that all
So
work?
I come in and serve as a civilian contractor, providing flight instruction services to airmen, active duty service members, and anyone else who would have base access.
And you obviously only have 2 years of actually flight experience yourself.
Yeah.
And you're an instructor.
Oh, yeah.
That's being like somebody in second grade suddenly teaching college courses.
Yeah.
So,
But the good news is I passed 7 FAA check rides, 6 FAA exams.
Okay.
I've been vetted, so I'm good.
all right.
So I'm doing that, and I'm loving the opportunities that God is providing there to continue to care for people, to serve people, and now to be able to have developed a skill set that the marketplace values.
Interrupt one more time. Are you teaching just military personnel, or are you also teaching civilians?
Right now, it's just military personnel.
So if you're a civilian and wanted to be part of your club, you couldn't do it.
Not at the Aero Club, no.
Okay. All right.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's exciting. But I still have this desire to serve the Lord and to see His kingdom continue to grow in depth and breadth. And so what I'm noticing is that there's been an identity shift that's taken place within me. And I'm more than just a pastor now, but I'm like a pastor pilot. And so I get to bring those two identities together into one. And as I've looked at my story and reviewed my story in this journey with Jesus, I've come to discover I have always enjoyed helping people get from where they are to where they want to be.
So as a pastor pilot, you are literally taking people in both realms to new heights.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
Just make
right.
sure I got that right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Like I think following Jesus is it's a journey and it's an adventure. And when you're following Him, sometimes it doesn't always make sense.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's where I'm at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I like for life and everything to make sense, so it stretches me to follow Him. It's not comfortable following Him,
Right.
but it's the best life we can possibly live.
It's not, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. For me, it's not always comfortable following Him at the time, even though I know the end result will be comfortable.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, desire that remain to continue to serve the Lord, serve the kingdom while I'm doing these other projects, just in one of my quiet times and visiting with very close, trusted friends, they suggested, why don't I take that skill set that I've developed in 22 years of working with Youth for Christ on how to do effective missionary fundraising, codify that, put it into a training module, and empower and equip other people who are feeling called to go into Christian ministry on how to do effective fundraising that both honors the Lord and honors their network at the same time.
So you're developing this, or it's already up and running?
Yeah, I've already developed it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 22 years of field-tested experience that I know works, and I've put that together into some pre-recorded videos. And then I can also do live interactive training through Zoom, and I can also do live presentations.
Do people buy these videos from you, or they just view them on YouTube, or how do they get access?
Yeah, they would get access to them through a price.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give us a glimmer. You don't have to reveal your whole package, but give us a glimmer beyond what most ministries get is an appeal letter.
Like a generic appeal letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A ministry sent out an appeal letter, whether it's a major ministry that you see on TV, or it's a local church or something, they send out an appeal letter. We've got this, like a local church might send out an appeal letter saying, we're building a new education wing, would you help us?
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of those, okay?
Yeah.
Because relationships in Omaha, all the churches, pastors I'm acquainted with, I'll get a letter saying, would you help us? Even churches I've previously served at in other states like Texas, I've gotten letters, we're remodeling, would you help us? So beyond just a letter, give us a glimpse of some other things that...
Yeah. I place a tremendous value on relational equity with people. And I have found like tremendous success in my 22 years of fundraising of getting an opportunity to sit down across the table from somebody and having a conversation. So what I train other people to do is, how do you have an effective one-on-one fundraising appointment?
Okay.
So there's certain tasks that you do before the appointment. There's certain key things that you need to do during the appointment. And then there's certain tasks that are absolutely essential for after the appointment. So it's just taking a look at, what do we do before, what do we do during, and what do we do after that will set us up for success.
So I'm thinking in my mind, and again, we haven't talked about this, and if you don't want to go there, it's okay. But I'm thinking in my mind, if you were a church or a ministry, even like myself, and you have, say, 100 people you want to send a letter to, and then in your mind, you're thinking, well, if I had to meet with 100 people for an hour, that's a lot of time invested.
It is.
And I may or may not get much bang for my buck out of some of those meetings, you know, and then how do I navigate of those 100? What if 30 of them live in other states?
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
how does the logistics of some of that?
Yeah. So what I would train people to do is to generate a letter, and that letter would be part of a larger strategy. That wouldn't be an end in itself, but the letter would be a touch point that you could use with people. And then I would coach them to reach out and follow up with those individuals and then schedule those one-on-one appointments. Now, you're right, 100 hours, it's a lot. So I would have them prioritize, like, who are the people you would most want on your team, get those people scheduled first, and then just start working your way down that list. So I would prioritize certain people based upon the quality of my relationship with them, and the potential for...
So are you encouraging people to look at the quality of the relationship, which you just said,
Yeah.
and or are you looking for, let's say, of your list, let's say you've got 25 on your list, and 5 of them are CEOs of major companies. Are you then centering on them because you know there's more money behind their name?
Potentially. I mean, I don't want people to... Part of what I coach our teams to do is to develop ministry partners and look for more than just donors. So yeah, I mean, if somebody is of high net worth, then it's certainly worth putting forth the effort to try to get some time with that individual. But just because somebody has a tremendous amount of high net worth doesn't mean that they're going to be, super generous toward your particular cause. You know, I've seen God raise up people that I never would have imagined would be the kinds of partners that He's allowed us to have, who, when you would look at them, you would think they don't have a tremendous amount, and yet they're unbelievably generous with their tithes and offerings. So,
yeah. I mean, I've encountered people who just spontaneously donate to me periodically. Mm-hmm. You know, and they said, "Oh, I really liked your ministry. Here's, you know, I got one the other day. It was a check for $100. It came from a foundation." I'm thinking, "Oh, $100 from a foundation, that's a blessing." But in my mind, $100 from a foundation isn't very much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, but another man I met way back around 2007, he has stayed connected with me for years, and he's given me permission every once in a while. He said, "If you need something, let me know." And I've not done that very often, but over the years, he's probably given me somewhere between, I'd have to go back and tally it, but somewhere between 35 and 50,000.
Unbelievable.
Okay, because I sat next to him on an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay, from Minneapolis to Florida. Okay, and we just struck up a conversation and became friends. He's a believer, and he's very wealthy. And to this day, I mean, literally, that was 2007. This is 2026.
Yeah.
You know, it's 19 years that he's been a friend, and periodically, you know, donating.
That's unbelievable.
How do you hear these stories very often, where you just...
Oh yeah,
like somebody, like God has put somebody in your life that, you know, they can...
Yeah. I'll share one quick story. This is somebody that I had an existing relationship. I played high school football in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And one of the guys that was on our team, his name was Kevin Schaefer. Huge individual, like 6'4", 280 pounds, with
6'4" is not very tall. Keep me in mind. Okay.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 6'7". Okay. You just can't see me because I'm sitting down. Okay.
Yeah. But he had like 6 or 7% body fat. Like, he was just a tremendous athlete. And long story short, he ended up playing in the NFL. And I had an opportunity when I was working out at the gym in Naples, Italy. and they were doing Monday morning highlights on ESPN. And sure enough, Kevin Schaefer shows up on the screen, and I just felt this prompting to reach out to him, and so we connected on the phone that week, and I shared with him an update on how things were going, and I told him what our need was, and he and his wife ended up making a $10,000 gift like the next week, So I've seen God show up and provide in the most unbelievable kinds of ways. And you've got an amazing gift for that too. You just seem to attract that with the people that you sit next to. Everywhere you go, you're a blessing to other people. You sow generously, and I think that's why you also reap so generously as well.
I was going to read a verse to you, but it came to my mind. God gave me this verse years ago in 2001 when I started traveling full time. He said, "Right now you have plenty and can help those who are in need. Later they will have plenty and can share with you when you have a need. In this way, things will be equal." And I asked the Lord, I said, I don't understand what this verse means when he first gave it to me. He said, well, you're going to give them teaching, you're going to give them ministry, you're going to give them healing prayer, you're going to give them support, you're going to give them spiritual encouragement, and then they're going to give you money.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're giving them what you have and what they need, and they're going to give you what you need. And what you...
Yeah.
So I've held on to that verse for many years, and as you were talking, that's just, I'm still in that realm of doing that, and but your program is much more comprehensive.
Yeah.
That's more advanced than what I'm doing or what probably many ministries or churches are doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you connecting, or how's it going? You've launched this new thing. You've got the flight school going. You've got this thing going.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like the flight school is going really good. Tell me more about how this is progressing.
It's going really well. I just launched it in March, went live in March, and there's a Bible camp in Idaho. The executive director out there has expressed very strong interest in adopting this program, this training program, and hiring me as like a fundraising coach or consultant for their staff to help them level up their fundraising. I just had a great meeting yesterday with the Greater Omaha Youth for Christ chapter, and I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to work out a win-win partnership there as well. And so I'm super excited about the traction that it's getting and the potential for impact, and not just a linear type impact, but a multiple, kind of impact that it could have just for kingdom growth and kingdom expansion, not just here in Omaha, but literally across the nation and even across the world.
Are you just working with 501c3s? Or are you working with other organizations?
Primarily churches, missionaries, and mission agencies is kind of who I'm focused on right now, because that's my story. That's my background.
Right. Locally, Youth for Christ and stuff, you have people signing up or expressing interest?
Oh, yeah. So it's super exciting.
So you're an interesting entity in that, in my mind, you changed directions pretty, not necessarily quick, but you went from youth ministry and everything else here to flight school.
Yeah.
That's a huge shift, okay, right there.
It is, yeah.
And then right after you get your flight school done and all the accreditation, everything you needed to do, now you're out training other people to be pilots.
Yep.
Okay, so it's like boom, boom, really fast kind of stuff. Then you get this idea for fundraising, and you're starting that, and now you're launching into that quickly.
Yeah.
Is that kind of your MO for your whole life?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I very much like to be purpose driven. Like, I like to have clarity and focus in what I do, and that everything that I do is kind of working toward a particular focused ending point. And I think that the Lord knows that about me. And I think what he's doing is he's just continuing to grow my faith and expand my platform on the kind of influence that I could have. Now, it's not something that I would have written that for my life, but as we journey with him, what does this psalm say? Like, your word is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my path. It's just, we only get a little bit that we get to see in front of us. And I would like to see the big picture.
So I take that, I like that verse, and I'm going to I'm going to share just a little different entity from a. He's a lamp under my feet. I use a lamp under my feet. Here's a lamp.
Yeah.
Okay, so this lamp does the immediate thing.
Yeah.
A light on my path. It's like these big spotlights here in this thing because they light up the whole room.
Oh, that's a good
So in
observation. Yeah.
actuality, he says, I offer a little bit of light here, and as you trust me here, I will light up the whole path.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the way I view that verse. So maybe that's some of what you're experiencing.
Yeah, and I think as I'm journeying with him, that is becoming more clear. And I was just sharing with somebody earlier this morning that when I look at what the next 20 years could bring, man, I'm so excited about what my 50s could look like and what my 60s could look like.
But keep enjoying your 20s for now, okay?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So you've got this journey, and so for the listening audience, the watching audience, I heard you say two things. I like consistent, slow down approach, make sure I know everything else going on, but simultaneously your last two are bam, quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody is watching and they're a believer, or they're not a believer, but they're thinking about going to a new field. Maybe they're in construction and they're thinking about opening a restaurant. Maybe they are a musician and they're thinking about being a writer. I don't know. It's a big change. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say one, walk closely with Jesus, like in this whole journey, even though like maybe from the outside looking in, it feels like some very abrupt changes that have happened in the past couple of years to go from 22 years of ministry to learn an entirely new vocation with a whole new vocabulary and a whole new set of skill set that's required to be successful over here. But what I can say is at every step along that way, I can honestly say I was doing what I thought God was asking me to do. And I was seeking to be faithful in that journey and through that process. So that's provided then like a foundation of confidence that I know it might seem kind of whiplash and uncoordinated, but I know that I'm doing what God is asking me to do. And I'm trusting that in the end, there's going to be something so beautiful on the other side of it that I could have never even begun to take credit.
Well, I think about two verses that bring up two different quantities of life. One is, they shall run and not be weary, they shall walk and not faint. So walking and running, especially running, means quick movement. And then I think about other verses, wait patiently upon the Lord, just stop and wait. So there are seasons where we're just sitting, waiting, and there are other times we're propelled with this atomic something else behind us, and we got to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm going to share in the next session about, and I'm sure you saw it, where I went out and did a fundraiser in 3 days to raise money for the TSA agents when they weren't getting paid. That was one of the most quick things. I raised several $1,000s in 3 days. Was able to help them significantly.
Yeah.
But the window was very closed. It was very tight, and had to do it very quickly or it wasn't going to get done. So there are seasons like that. And it sounds like you're in one of these, God's quickly motivating you and moving you towards something that he's obviously called you to.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that tension that you bring, because it's both a waiting, and then when you get that green light, bam, like doors begin to open up that you're just like, holy smokes, like it can happen that fast.
Right.
But it's that honoring that tension. And so it's come out of many, many hours of just sitting. I've got a little spot in my home that I just sit and I just try to be quiet and listen and read. So that's the first thing I would offer. The second thing I would offer folks who find themselves in this is learning and understanding your own story and the narrative that God has written or is writing in the past or has written in the past. And so while the aviation thing might seem like it's from out of left field or right field, it's actually been a continuous part of my story throughout the whole journey. And what I would share with you is that I've always had a passion for operating large equipment. I grew up near a farm, on the farm in southeastern Minnesota, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So driving trucks and tractors and farm implements and equipment, that's just been a part of our family's history, running go-karts around the farm and church parking lots and four-wheelers and snowmobiles. That's always been fun. When I turned 18, I got my truck driver's license, so I can drive a semi,
Okay.
because my dad was a truck driver. His brother was a truck driver. Like that's that was our environment. That's what we talked shop around during the Christmas, New Year's Sunday afternoon. And so when this idea came of being able to possibly learn how to fly, that was a consistent part of the journey. It was just leveling it up a little bit.
Well, I fully anticipate being on Air Force One someday, and I won't go into all that now. But when I'm on there, maybe you'll be the pilot. So
I think military folks only get that honor.
yeah, things could change. So
yeah,
So, anyway, we have 2 minutes left. What do you want to? How do you want to wrap it up? What do you want to share about what's going on in ministry or anything?
Yeah, I would say the thing that I'm most excited about is what God has in store in the future. That, it feels like for all of my 20s, all of my 30s, and for halfway through into my 40s, it just feels like it's been one continuous boot camp season after another. And I'm just so jacked up excited for what the Lord may be doing for the next 20 years of my life.
Tell us the name of the ministry again.
Yeah, so it's the Partnership Blueprint.
Okay, Partnership Blueprint. How can they contact you?
I would say reach out to me via email. That would be the best way.
Okay, we'll put the email on the screen.
Yeah.
And what's the initial process look like when you get a new client?
Yeah, so I would sit down with them either on the phone or in person, listen to what their needs are, hear where their pain points are, and then propose the solution to help them through this time of need and to help level up their teams or their individual fundraising efforts.
And what you bring to the table is a way for ongoing support that goes beyond just an initial letter that most ministries send out, or a postcard or whatever, or even today, an email or something on social media. I mean, I see ads on social media all the time, and basically I ignore most of them. Because I got one this morning. Please join moms for something in Omaha. I'm not a mom. I'm immediately just like, why did you even send this to me? So,
Ultimately, I want to be a part of building a ministry team, a partner of ministry people that are going to journey with us. I don't want to look at people just as donors. I want to look at them as, man, let's enter into a partnership together, because I think ministry was meant to be done together. And the more people that are involved in it, that are there to support you, not just financially, but also emotionally and spiritually during those tough times, I think that's the key to longevity in ministry.
And a lot of people will shy away from anything that deals with money because, I'm going to get, that hits home with my wallet, But simultaneously, it takes money. The gospel is free, but it's not cheap.
Right.
Okay. So that's what I often say. It's free. It's a free gift, but it's not cheap. It takes money to run a ministry, have TV, radio, podcasts, pay salaries, pay the electric bill, whatever. And travel and stuff. So we're out of time. Thanks so much for being with us. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for being with us. God bless you all. We'll see you next time on Directions. Until then, bye-bye.